Hello there, and welcome to Banter Podcast, episode 30.
That was about as lacklustre as the wank I had this morning.
It's not going to get any better than that, is it?
No, neither is this episode.
Yes, we turned 30 today. Good for us. I'm not going to blow into that again. Like the first episode, titled It's a Thing, uploaded on the 21st of October 2015.
No.
Yes, and you and I are the only ones who've been here for every single fucking one of them.
I mean, I have got a terrible habit of not being able to say no.
The original plan, dear viewer, was to continue the kind of debate over who would win out of the Scrabbian, the Snelephant, or the Gyno. We actually prepared pictures and everything, and we were going to put them on the screen for you, and we were going to chat for a lengthy time, but sadly Lorna had to withdraw last minute, and it would be wrong if we did that without her.
I believe so. I mean, in fairness, what I have drawn is far short of what I envisioned that day. I had such a vision in my mind of what I wanted to do for the Gyno. I wanted to do it proud. I wanted some kind of like top trump style card situation. In my mind, I was going to colour it in and everything. I mean, who knows, between now and the next episode, there's still time.
I'm going to stick with what I've got.
I probably will do the same thing.
Mine is coloured in.
Is it?
And shaded-ish.
Oh, wow.
Considering it was so rushed, I'm quite chuffed with it. Mum's seen it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she said it looked pretty decent.
Of course she did.
Yeah, Dad just laughed.
That's probably the more honest response, isn't it? A Scrabbian that only a mother could love.
Anyway, I am about to crack open a can of Hobgoblin Golden Ale.
And I'm about to crack open a can for Wingman. Merry 30th.
Yes, happy 30th.
Well done, us. Clink. Lovely. It's about as sad as the first time I turned 30.
So last night I came back from watching Alien Romulus.
Oh yeah, you went and saw that literally last night.
Literally,
didn't
at time of talking, I saw it last night, yes.
Mm.
And when I came back home, Claire asked me, oh, how was it? I was like, you know what, it was really, really good, etc. And she was like, are you going to review it? I was like, I'm considering it. And then she was like, why don't you talk about it on the podcast? And I was like, literally tomorrow. Yeah, you can bash it out. So I kind of pieced this fucking mini review together almost as fast as I did the fucking Scrabbian. It too is jaded as fuck, but we're going to plow through it.
It's amazing what you can achieve when you're pushed.
Pressure makes diamonds, right?
Absolutely.
This doesn't shine that brightly. But considering a normal review takes me fucking 2 weeks at least, I've bashed this one out pretty quickly.
See, and it's probably not as shit as you think.
Well, let's see, shall we?
Yes, we'll leave the viewers to decide.
20 years after the events of Alien, so Ripley will be floating around somewhere in cryosleep during all of this. A group of friends decide they've had enough of their mundane, soul-destroying quotidian and wish to leave their colony by ways of stealing cryochambers from a recently discovered and seemingly derelict Weyland-Yutani spacecraft to put in their own vessel before embarking on a 9-year trip to start fresh on another world.
Wow.
Right. Upon entering said spaceship, it doesn't take them very long to discover that it's not as unoccupied as they theorized.
Ooh, quotidian, by the way. Very nice word. Love
Thank
that.
you.
Yeah.
It was quite hard to do that without spoiling, weirdly.
Okay, so no spoilers in this review?
Never. I never spoil in the review.
Oh, fair play.
It's very much a love letter to the first instalment. It encapsulates the 1979 Alien movie's atmosphere really well. Very intimate setting, and it makes it feel claustrophobic. Like, it takes place almost exclusively on the Romulus, which is the aforementioned
The ship.
spacecraft, yes. It really does give off survival horror vibes, not like an FPS vibe like the Aliens did. Do you remember it's just all about the colonial marines? Like, yeah, it felt more like a fucking
Video game.
shoot 'em up video game in FPS as opposed to kind of like a horror movie in ways. Yes, you may miss an Easter egg or two, but you don't have to be overly familiar with the franchise to appreciate Romulus at all. Like, my relationship with the film series is quite tangential, and I followed every single second of the near enough 2-hour duration perfectly. I didn't feel lost. The acting is great. MVP goes to Kaylee Spaeny, I could be saying that wrong, sorry, who hasn't done a movie of this nature before, but she was in Pacific Rim Uprising, though.
Yay.
Cinematography is efficient and the soundtrack is put to good use, especially when complementing the jump scares. The xenomorphs look awesome, as do the overall effects, and the creative has done a good job at having the props be akin to the vision from the original. Like, obviously, there's a big time frame between the 1979 version and the one that was released like a couple of weeks ago, and it could have been so easy for them to get carried away with, like, let's just have all the effects in the world. And we're like, well, this film's taking place only 20 years after its predecessor in terms of chronology.
So they didn't lean on CGI
No.
hardly at all. Oh, that's good.
No, they haven't added any more bells and whistles to the xenomorphs. They look exactly the same.
I like that, especially in a world where AI is very much taking over. To go back to old school prop work is very much appreciated by the fandom.
There are certain elements of nonsensical. The main one for me was there were no space police involved. Like, when they were going from their colony up to the abandoned ship, there was no one stopping them. No one was questioning them at all. And considering this is a Weyland-Yutani vessel, which is what the colony that they were on is governed by, no one was kind of like questioning what they were doing. They would have been seen, surely. There wasn't even an element of stealth with getting into their ship and fucking off up to this spacecraft. They did it, like, nonchalantly. And considering they're contractually obligated to be on that planet to work, no one gave a fuck about what they were doing.
Which there absolutely would be.
Yeah, you'd have thought, because they said in the movie that the ship was, like, recently discovered, but I refuse to believe that these fucking group of wet wipes would have discovered it before, like, the authorities, the government on the actual planet itself. Despite that kind of, like, minor fly in a jar of what was relatively a pleasant jar of ointment, I had an overall good time, and this is coming from, like, a Predator guy.
Yeah, I was gonna say, because this isn't really your franchise.
Not at all. Not at all. I've watched all of them once when they were released, apart from the ones that were obviously released in the 70s. But yeah, I wasn't, as I said, I wasn't lost at all within the experience of...
Because I love the Alien films.
Yeah, you do.
Ripley was quite the awakening for me. Oh, I'm chuffed. Also, side note, if there's ever a film that is not worthy of mention 30 times in a row, it's Pacific Rim.
It's tradition now, we'd be remiss not to. That concludes my review, by the way.
Very good. I'm not sure if we mentioned that this was in the works last time, but Gladiator 2. Did we touch on it? I don't think we did. I think it might have been announced afterwards.
Yeah, it was announced afterwards.
Yeah.
Probably.
Well, there's trailers out, and the age rating has arrived, which is what I've been waiting for. Continues a Ridley Scott trend from the original film. Scott returns to the director's chair for the anticipated upcoming sequel. The Gladiator 2 story takes place roughly 20 years after the end of the first film, following Lucius, so do you remember the kid?
This is on theme for Ridley Scott, 20 years after the original installment again.
Again, yeah.
Weird.
So do you remember The Emperor's Child?
Yes.
So it follows his story, he's now a man. Paul Mescal plays Lucius. We got Denzel Washington in there as well. Pedro Pascal plays Marcus Acacius. You got a bunch of household names in here. So Lucius becomes the hero of the gladiatorial arena. Trailers have thus far teased that the film will feature many returning elements from the original. It's quite brutal looking, and they essentially determined that it would be inappropriate to make it any less than an R rating.
Oh, wow.
So it's quite gruesome. It's going to be, like, apparently the opening scene sets the tone.
Beautiful. I love it when movies do that.
Yeah. Apparently, though, I was scrolling YouTube shorts, as you do when you're in a hole. There was a thing from Russell Crowe, and the tagline said, "Don't ask Russell Crowe about Gladiator 2. And I was like, ooh, click.
Yeah,
they've got me again. Apparently, he's a little bit pissed that he's not in it, wasn't told about it, wasn't asked to be in it, nothing. The way that he found out that there was going to be another film was that he was on location somewhere else and had seen that the Gladiator arena had been rebuilt in the exact same location as when he was there, and he thought that he was in the time warp. And yeah, he's tanges of jealousy. He says, Ridley must have had his reasons for not including him. Obviously, he's dead.
Was gonna be my point.
He's dead in it, but...
But if it's his son... Oh, it's the Emperor's son, isn't it?
It's the Emperor's son.
They could have easily included him by ways of a flashback, but...
It's not a nice way to find out.
No, but it's kind of funny.
It is kind of funny. But yeah, I'm excited to see that one. Well, I'm excited to not see that one.
But yeah, you never see any of the shit that you talk about on this podcast.
No. Well, my aim is for others to see it, and then they can tell me about it, and then in my mind, I don't really need to see it if I've got the cliff notes from someone else.
Do we have a release date?
Released on the 15th of November, 2024.
Oh shit, it's this year.
It's this year.
Wow, cool. I'll definitely be watching that.
Yeah, apparently it's been filmed in Morocco.
I'll probably end up reviewing it.
In the trailer you can see Maximus Aurelius, whatever the fuck. His armour is in it. There's like a little shrine to him.
They included his clothes, but not. Oh, Russell. It's okay. It's going to be okay.
Yeah, I think him and his therapist have talked through it. I'm sure he's fine, but, you know, apparently he was a bit of a bitch about it. As you would be. That would be sore. What have you been playing lately?
I recently finished Horizon Forbidden West Burning Shores on stream, just before we went to Bloodstock. I wanted to finish it and release my Twisters review before going to the festival. And I did it whilst on no sleep after a subside night, thank you. What happened before streaming is the PlayStation 5 updated itself and reset the microphone default.
Oh no!
So even though I was chatting shit for like 3.5 hours on the stream, none of it was broadcasted at all.
Oh.
It was fine. It was such a shame. Like, to be fair, it was a blessing in disguise, because even I was like, oh, I've had no sleep and I'm still a bit fucked. The bit I wish was broadcasted was the speech that I gave at the end about how this game was the first game that I streamed ever and the first I completed in fuck knows how many years and stuff like that. I'm still doing Rocket League, and in a week or so I'm going to start streaming UFC 4.
Oh, brilliant.
So yeah, I'm looking forward to doing that.
I got my PS4 back.
Have you?
Yeah, it's in my room at the minute in the bag that I was handed it to several days ago. I haven't moved it from the spot I put it down in.
That's good. Play Forbidden West. I gave it to you to
yes.
Go on. It can be played on the PS4.
There's a few things that I have to do first before I can dedicate proper time to gaming again. We all know and love Bojack.
Yes.
Don't get too excited.
Okay.
We're not getting Bojack back. And we're not getting horsing around either, as much as we would all love it.
We were touting for that years ago, weren't we?
We were, yes. However, the creative team are going to reunite for a new Netflix adult animated series called Long Story Short.
Okay.
So, Bojack creator Raphael Bob Waxberg, sure, is going to be bringing a new offering to Netflix. It's a family saga that sounds ripe to be both as surreal and profound as the equine predecessor. So it's their third post-Bojack project, most of which I don't give a fuck about other than Tuca and Bertie. Did you ever watch Tuca and Bertie?
I watched a couple of episodes with you.
I fucking loved Tuca and Bertie.
I really enjoyed the couple of episodes I watched.
It was so surreal, so sassy. I think I talked about it on one of the podcasts, actually.
You have mentioned it, definitely, in the past.
So impassioned am I about it. They cancelled it after the first season, then brought it back for another 2 seasons, and now it's disappeared again. So I'm like, what the fuck's happening with Tuca? Anyway, not to matter. Love Tuca and Bertie. If you haven't seen it, do. You'll really enjoy. It's one of those like very wacky, exactly what you want from an animated series, because they really push the realms of what you can do. I mean, I think what a lot of animated series forget is that they aren't real life, and they can be as outrageous as they want to be, and Tuca and Bertie very much celebrated that. That's why I love it so much. Anyway, not the point. So, characteristically playful and provocative, they kind of sell it as an animated comedy about a family over time. It's about the shared history, the inside jokes, the old wounds. If you've ever had a mother, father, sibling, partner or child, it's the show for you.
So basically this program's suited for everyone on the fucking planet.
Essentially, yes, yeah. So no plot specifics really, or who will be among the voice cast bringing the animator's family saga to life. But anything from, apparently they're from the best 100 TV shows of all time. Bojack is. I don't know where they are on that list, but they feature on that list.
A deserved placement.
Yeah, and apparently it's set to hit our screen sometime in 2025, and the hype train starts here.
Choo choo.
Should you have a look at where they are on that list?
Go on then.
100 best TV shows of all time. Oh, I'm not reading all of this.
I really, really wished they'd done a second season of Midnight Gospel.
I don't know how they could have.
They still might. Duncan's an extremely busy man, though.
Is he?
Yeah. So we'll see. When you were saying that you're an animated program comedy, you can literally do anything you want, like be as outrageous as you want. When you were saying that, Midnight Gospel came into my mind, and then I started missing it immediately. Just the fucking idea of having audio and visual completely separate from one another is brilliant. Like, if you're not interested in one, you can enjoy the other. And there were several episodes where that happened.
Yeah, it was a real meeting of minds. That it was beautifully done. Would you like to hazard a guess as to where Bojack featured on this list?
Top 100 TV programs of all time.
Of all time.
Oh, bottom half it has to be. 74.
66.
Okay, that wasn't too bad.
Not too bad. Do you want to hazard a guess as to the number one?
Of all time?
Or at least, try and reach for top 5, so.
I imagine Game of Thrones is in there. Even the season they kind of blemished it. It is. Third. Breaking Bad's going to be in top 5 too. Second. Number 1. Give me a clue.
Neither of us have seen it, I don't think. But old school gangster style. Sopranos.
Oh,
Sopranos
I
is
wouldn't
number
have got
1.
that.
However, Better Call Saul, number 8. Love that.
Yeah, another justified placement for sure.
Yeah, I love that. Oh my god, Buffy the Vampire Slayer is 10th. Rightly so.
I preferred Angel.
Did you? Shall we have a look where Angel was?
It might not be on there.
The Simpsons was only 14th. Twin Peaks, go on, 15th.
It's Always Sunny should be on there.
Let's have a look. Hang on.
Angel. I wouldn't be surprised if it wasn't. The tone was just darker and I was just more captivated by the overall story compared to Buffy.
I don't think Angel's on here. What was the other one?
It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
No.
Really?
Not on there.
That's fucking tragic.
Yeah, I'm surprised at that. Anyway. That was a bit of fun, wasn't it?
Oh, The Gentleman's been renewed for a second season.
That was my other bit of news.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Shit, sorry.
No, it's good though, it's good. Expected to shoot for 2025. Details are scarce for now, but Guy Ritchie is back as writer and director, and Eddie and Susie remain the same. That's all I know about it. I'm glad that it's confirmed.
I'd have been quite surprised if that wasn't renewed for a second season.
Oh, it's brilliant.
Yeah,
I
really,
loved
really
it.
Good.
I wonder if they're going to connect it to the films or whether they are going to keep the narrative separate.
I think eventually, because I remember you, me and Sean talking about this at Bloodstock. I expected Ray Winston's character to be Mickey. To
be Mickey, yeah.
Because they kept him off screen for so long and they didn't even give the character a name and stuff. And expecting Matthew McConaughey and it wasn't. I don't know. It's got to link up eventually. It has to.
Susie feels like the daughter of Mickey and Roz.
Yeah, definitely. It'll link up, but I'm in no rush for it to do that.
No,
if that means it's going to finish when they link up, I'm fine to wait a couple more seasons.
I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, me too. So just before we hit the record button, I just went through news feeds, hoping to kind of find something to talk about. And I stumbled across this little gem.
This little ditty.
Coming to us as soon as next month.
Okay.
Well, it'll probably be this month by the time this is released. A Vince McMahon docu-series called Mr. McMahon is coming to Netflix.
That's fucking brilliant.
6 one-hour-long episodes. Directed by Chris Smith, who was the executive producer of Tiger King.
Perfect, because they are essentially the same character.
Very much so. I hope McMahon doesn't end up in jail because then again, the stuff JR said about him in his book, by rights, should have Mr. McMahon behind bars.
Yeah, I do wonder if maybe jail is the most appropriate place for this man. Fuck, yeah, the JR books, dear listeners, if you ever get a chance, regardless of whether you're into wrestling or not, it would help if you were. But Jim Ross's autobiographies, if you don't know who he is, he's the commentator for wrestling in general. He's the guy in the cowboy hat and the cerebral palsy face. No shade, those are his words, not mine. His books give such an insight into the world of wrestling and his impact in it, but also into some of the main characters. Ric Flair, for one.
Yes.
Jesus Christ, that man. Fuck me. But also Vince McMahon. I mean, it explains a lot of things, doesn't it?
It really, really does. And I'm quite surprised that JR, as far as I'm aware, hasn't had any backlash from either of those two gentlemen because of it. Raw is coming to Netflix in January as well. A lot of WWE stuff is going to head over to that platform.
Fair play.
At the beginning of next year. And that means that the wrestlers can swear, they can do a hell of a lot more kind of risky shit.
Bit of creative flow.
Yeah, exactly. So it's going to be a bit more like the Attitude Era. WWE is already going in that direction. AEW is already fucking there.
Yeah.
So I'm very much looking forward to that. I do think that Vince McMahon kind of stepping down and having Triple H be in charge has benefited the company for sure.
Oh, massively.
But either way, no, I can't wait for that docuseries. It's going to be an absolute fucking laugh.
I am definitely watching that. Of the few things that I say that I'm actually going to watch, that will be one that makes it through.
Heels is coming to Netflix as well, which I'm looking forward to. That's another wrestling TV series. I haven't seen it. Heels.
Oh, Heels.
Heels. And I want another season of The Wrestlers as well, the Ohio Valley Wrestling documentary. That was fucking amazing. I recommend that as well if you're a wrestling fan.
More wrestling content, please.
Love wrestling content. We're fresh off All In.
Yeah, that was electric.
It was. Have you seen the fucking pictures that butthurt WWE fans are putting up from that?
No.
Like, this was SummerSlam this year, packed out stadium and all that kind of shit.
Yeah.
And below it is an image of All In. And I'm like, this picture was taken before the first bell. Of course there's fuck all people there. You know what I mean? They're taking it at the wrong time. If you were taking it during, like, the Swerve Strickland-Bryan Danielson match, different fucking image entirely. Like, come on, man. What?
They just like to push their own narrative,
yeah, who
don't
hurt
they?
you?
Some people
Fuck
like
off.
to be divisive in this way. I'm not really into that.
Mm.
Like, you can like what you like. You don't have to yuck my yum just because you're not into it.
You can like both. You don't have to like either of them.
Yeah, and what's it to you?
I've been criticised in the past for liking the UFC and pro wrestling.
Interestingly, so have I.
Really?
Yes, because the argument is, how do you watch real fighting and then indulge in
Sports entertainment.
Sports entertainment, yes, that's well put. And for the most part, it's just because I enjoy both.
Both, yeah.
And I understand the difference of what wrestling entertainment is and fighting is.
Yeah.
Like, but, you know what I mean? Like, I didn't realise that it surprised me when I was put in that space to have to explain that to someone.
I also like death metal and reggae, what's your point?
Yeah, it was weird. I'm like, sir, you can like more than one thing.
Exactly. But no, that Vince McMahon docuseries is not gonna watch that sober.
No, you can't watch that sober.
No.
Apparently he's quite a germaphobe.
He is, yeah. Yeah, which is why JL wasn't too fussed about having his face embedded in his ass on live television.
Because he knew it was at least going to be clean.
Yeah. Weird how we both remembered that bit of the book.
It sticks with me, that bit. The bit that particularly haunted me was how Vince said to JR that it was the highlight of JR's career. And JR was like, what?
This podcast was almost worth missing out on the premiere of the Rings of Power Season 2 for.
Is that today? Is that right now?
At time of me bambling on, yeah, it was released earlier.
The
first 3 episodes are out and now they're going to be released subsequent Thursdays.
I like that they've given us the first 3.
Yeah, just
that's good.
Like the whistle. I'm done.
Well, I was going to ask you
go on.
What your top 5 TV series would be.
Of all time? Hi guys, hope you're enjoying episode 30 thus far. Sorry to interrupt, but it's worth mentioning that after we stopped recording it occurred to us that we forgot to mention Vikings, which just so happened to be in our respective top 5 favourite TV programmes ever. I'm of course talking about the series that first aired on the History Channel way back when, not Vikings Valhalla. I can't speak for Claire, but in my opinion that show sucked a bit of mid-tier cock. Please feel free to list some of your favourite TV shows in the comments section so I can critique you harshly. Anyway, back to the podcast. I definitely think that you wouldn't have seen this. I think that the Death Note animated series is definitely up there. That was an incredible journey. Bojack would definitely be up there too. I would have said Game of Thrones if it wasn't for the latter series.
Well, this is your fantasy. You can choose all of them up to that point if you want to.
What's in yours?
Well, a lot of mine are animated, which I didn't expect. There's Bojack also on mine, Tuca and Bertie, aforementioned, and Midnight Gospel. I thought Parks and Recreation.
Yes,
loved that.
That was phenomenal.
Stargate SG-1.
Weirdly enough, I was thinking Stargate.
Yeah, loved that when I was a kid. Obviously, I haven't revisited it as an adult. I don't know how well it's aged, say, because we all know that Friends hasn't aged very well.
No, it hasn't. I'm going to bring It's Always Sunny into my top 5, actually.
It's Always Sunny? Yeah, why
definitely.
not? Yeah.
In no particular order, it definitely, the fact that it's not in the top hundo is criminal.
Yeah, Twin Peaks is up there for me as well.
I haven't seen that.
Oh, it's fabulous. And it's surprising how much Twin Peaks encroaches on the kind of day-to-day references. The film, however, I flew too close to the sun.
Ah, okay.
Did an Icarus on that one. Couldn't engage in it at all.
Okay. To be honest, for pure nostalgia, Married with Children as well.
Oh my god, yeah.
I haven't seen an episode in years, but I highly doubt that's aged well as well.
Men Behaving Badly as well.
Oh, in terms of fucking British comedies, Bottom.
Well, it's series. It could be
Yeah,
anything you
true.
like. Bottom features, for sure.
The slapstick in Bottom was just unrivaled at the time.
Stunning effort.
Actually, Jackass.
Yeah, why not?
Jackass. I've named more than 5 now, but these are just programs that I really fucking love.
Yeah. I was watching Steve-O content the other day, and he was talking about his most painful stunt. You know, the one where he got set on fire?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, like, was it 70% of his body? Because the man's sober, like, so he wasn't taking any pain relief for it.
That's the scary bit, isn't it?
Yeah, he had to in the end, because obviously surgery. But... And many more favourites to come.
Indeed. Many more episodes of this podcast to come.
Here's to the next 30.
This is a reluctant ching to that.
I'm hoping there's not going to be 30.
No, of course not. Fuck that. That was the best one.